The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is finally here, but so are a bunch of other new Android devices that not only include their charging adapter in the box, but boast superior charging technology when compared to Samsung's new king. The S22 Ultra has the largest battery capacity here at 5000 milliamps, and while you can charge it with a 25-watt charger, I'll be using Samsung's 45-watt brick since the Galaxy S22 Ultra marks the return of 45-watt charging. Do bear in mind though that neither charger comes packed in the box. The OPPO Find X5 Pro matches the Samsung's battery size at 5000 milliamps, but bumps up charging speed to 80 watts, which is a tad better than its predecessor's 65 watts. The OnePlus 10 Pro is identical to its OPPO sibling, which sports a 5000 milliamp hour battery cell and 80 watt charging, also a step up from its predecessor. The iQOO 9 Pro has a slightly smaller battery at 4700 milliamps, but brings charging speed all the way up to a whopping 120 watts. The Xiaomi 12 Pro has the smallest battery of the lot here at 4600 milliamps, but matches the iQOO in terms of charging speed by also including a 120 watt charger in its box. Who will come out on top of this extremely detailed 0 to 100% charging speed test? This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's find out. Before we get things going, it is worth checking out the temperature at the start of the test before we plug all phones on charger, all sitting at around 21 degrees in Celsius, which is pretty much room temperature. Popping them all on charge from left to right and hitting start on the starter timer phone on the right hand side. We do have a time interval at the top right hand corner, and the percentages below each branding of the phone and above the actual device is in relation to that time interval. This is not measured in real time. After 5 minutes we have 10% on the S22 Ultra, 21% on the Find X5 Pro, 22% on the OnePlus 10 Pro, 28% on the iQOO 9 Pro, and 28% matching the iQOO is the Xiaomi 12 Pro. I have also made sure to disable all forms of battery optimization and enable all forms of fast charging, super fast charging, or boost charging for that of the Xiaomi over here to ensure that we can get the best possible results from all devices. Nearing that 10-minute mark interval after the Xiaomi was the hottest and the Samsung was the coolest, we hit 10 minutes and got 22% on the Samsung, 40% on the OPPO, 41% on the OnePlus, 64% on the iQOO, and 55% now dragging behind the iQOO is the Xiaomi 12 Pro, with the Xiaomi still being the hottest and the Samsung still being the coolest over here, reaching that 15-minute mark interval. And we have 33% on the Samsung, 56% on the OPPO, 58% still ahead of the OPPO over here, strangely enough, even though they pretty much identical cousins over here, 89% on the iQOO and 82% on the Xiaomi. And can we get to the 20-minute mark? Can one phone be done before 20 minutes? And yes, it can be, that being the iQOO 9 Pro, finishing off in 18 minutes, which is ridiculously quick thanks to its smaller battery size of 4700 milliamps and crazy fast 120 watt charging. Not far after that, however, the Xiaomi 12 Pro knocks out at 20 minutes, but still ending off hotter than that of the iQOO over here and having the hottest peak. It didn't do too bad in terms of 0 to 100%, neither of them did. Pretty much doing it in under 20 minutes, which is impressive to say the least. After 30 minutes, we have the Samsung sitting at 68%, 94% on the OPPO, 97%, still beating the OPPO is the OnePlus 10 Pro over here. Once again, same battery size, same charging wattage speed over here. Both come bundled with Super VOOC in the box, and the OnePlus beats the OPPO over here, doing it in 33 minutes, which is, I guess you could say, pretty impressive, but pretty similar to its predecessor, the OnePlus 9 Pro, which did it in around 30 minutes with 65 watt charging, but it did have a smaller battery. Similar thing can be said for the OPPO over here, finishing in 36 minutes. Its predecessor was a bit quicker, but had a smaller battery and 65 watt charging. This did it in 36 minutes, which is still ridiculously fast charging, but not the fastest I've seen around. Now we're trying to edge off to see how long it's going to take in order to juice up the Samsung to 100%, and it hit 91% after the 45-minute mark interval over here. Not too bad considering Samsung devices have been known to charge slower in the past, and there is some contradiction between 25 watt and 45 watt charging this time around, but using the 45 watt charger, we got under an hour. Yes, that's right, 57 minutes, 0 to 100% on the S22 Ultra, ending things off with a milliamp hour per minute reading of 87.7, which is quite far off the highest of the test of here, being the iQOO 9 Pro at 261.1. Fifth place over here, we have the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra doing it in 57 minutes, the fastest charging Ultra phone from Samsung I've ever tested, thanks to 45-watt charging and a 5000 mAh battery. Fourth place, we have the OPPO Find X5 Pro over here doing it in 36 minutes, though not the fastest around, still ridiculously quick, and 80-watt charging, 5000 mAh battery, which is the same cell and battery charging speed of the OnePlus 10 Pro, which beat its OPPO sibling over here, doing it in just 33 minutes. In second place, we have the Xiaomi 12 Pro doing it in 20 minutes flat, which is impressive to say the least, but that is due to its smaller battery, 4600 milliamps and 120-watt charging. The iQOO is in first place over here, the iQOO 9 Pro that is, doing it in 18 minutes, slightly bigger battery than the Xiaomi, but the same charging speed at 120 watts. And if we compare all phones to its predecessors, the S21 Ultra did it in 66 minutes, whereas this time around it did it in 57 minutes, though that had 25-watt charging and this was using 45-watt charging. The predecessor of the Find X5 Pro is the Find X3 Pro. Looking at the top here, by the way, that has a smaller 4500 mAh battery but lower charging speed at 65 watts, and that did it in 29 minutes, which is quicker than the Find X5 Pro. Same thing can be said with the OnePlus 10 Pro, where its predecessor, the OnePlus 9 Pro, with a smaller battery and 65-watt charging, did it in 31 minutes, which is quicker than the OnePlus 10 Pro's 33 minutes, and the iQOO 8 Pro did it in 17 minutes, whereas the iQOO 9 Pro did it in 18 minutes, but their milliamp hour per minute reading was pretty similar, considering the iQOO 9 Pro has a slightly bigger battery than its predecessor. And comparing the Xiaomi 12 Pro to its predecessor, the Mi 11 Pro, the Mi 11 Pro actually had a larger 5000 mAh battery but significantly lower charging at 67 watts. That did it in 35 minutes, which has seen a huge improvement this time around with the 20 minutes on the Xiaomi 12 Pro. And if we look at the bottom of the screen, we can see the first to 50% and first to 80% of all phones. The Samsung did the worst here, getting 50% in 22 minutes. After that, we had the 13 minutes on the OPPO, 12 minutes on the OnePlus, 9 minutes on the Xiaomi, and leading the pack, no doubt, 8 minutes to get to 50% on the iQOO 9 Pro. And the reason why I put up to 80% right at the bottom is because most phones start to slow down their charging speed once they hit 80%, regardless of whether they're using optimized charging technology or not. We had optimized charging off over here, and the Samsung did 80% in 37 minutes, 23 minutes on the OPPO, 22 minutes on the OnePlus, 15 minutes on the Xiaomi, and 13 minutes on the iQOO. As you can see, the milliamp hour per minute difference drops from 50% to 80% to 100% being a full charge, so that we can protect our batteries and we can enjoy them for a longer period of time in the next 2, 3, 4 years per se. Though do bear in mind that the OPPO Find X5 Pro actually uses a new battery health engine, which is supposedly meant to speed up charging and make your battery age better over time. I guess you could kind of say that it might age better over time, but it hasn't exactly made it quicker. It also has a new cooling system on the OPPO, which makes its peak neck and neck with that of the OnePlus, being the coolest of the test at 43.1 degrees in Celsius. The OnePlus had the coolest end temp, and the Xiaomi had the worst end temp and the worst peak temperature. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making it. This is TechNick, and I'll catch you in the next one.